Well, I'm packing up my game and I'ma head out west, where real women come equipped with scripts and fake breasts. Find a nest in the hills, chill like Flint. Buy an old drop top, find a spot to pimp. Then I'm a
Welcome to B1 Sports Talk Podcast. This is your boy Tight. Coach, how you doing?
Good, man. What's happening with you?
Coach, you know what, Coach?
Holla at me.
Coach, you know how we do this podcast?
Why, my brother?
To make America great again. Coach, I believe this is a podcast for the people, chosen by the people, working for the people, and we are here to make America great again, Coach.
And let's do our thing.
Let's make America great again, Coach. Coach, how was your weekend, Coach?
Pretty good weekend, man. State track meet this past weekend. Outstanding performance by a lot of kids. State of Alabama got a lot of athletes to be proud of. Now, outdoor season begins. Meat and potatoes.
Hey, question: have they already started? I was looking at the Alabama paper today. Is girls basketball in the playoffs right now?
Yes, I think this past weekend was the last of all regular season games. I know at Auburn High, our girls played their last regular season game Friday night, girls and boys. So it is playoff time. Area tournaments should be beginning this week, I think. Yeah,
and it looks like you guys got Smith Station up there at Auburn, but not to take you away from our original conversation, but looks like you guys finished in 5th place out of how many teams, Coach?
That's a real tricky question. And the reason I say that is because when the track meet ends, the only time you only see the teams that actually scored at the meet. There could have been teams there that didn't score, and if they didn't score, they won't even show up in the results. So, I mean, there's 32 6A teams, 7A teams. I don't think all 32 were represented, but out of, I think maybe 17 teams possibly scored. So that's all I know of. I know there were some teams there that didn't score in the meet that were represented. So I'm not sure how many 7 teams qualified for the meet.
Gotcha. But you guys were able to finish in 5th place. Congratulations goes out to the Auburn High boys track team, Coach. How did those guys do this year?
Well, normally I try not to talk about the boys on this show, but the boys are the 2-time state indoor defending champions. They great performance by the guys this weekend. Shout out to them boys. Probably one of the better performances that I've seen from Auburn High School track program. Great performance this weekend. They beat Hoover. Kind of turned into a little rivalry now between Auburn High and Hoover in track right now on the boys' side, and boys able to be victorious. So shout out to Coach Norton, our boys' head coach. He keeps on making magic with those boys. So congrats to them.
Yeah, that's congratulations. You didn't bring it up. I brought it up. So that I know you. We don't want you to take credit for what the Auburn boys are doing. You are the head coach of the women's track team. So we like to make certain that you talk about your team, and I noticed that the boys had won. So we wanted to shout them out, Coach.
Oh, no doubt. It was a big weekend for Lee County. Our rivals. Opelika High School warming up for the 6A boys. So looking like we're going to be having some heck of some track meets here locally this year. Should be fun.
Do you get a ring, Coach? Will you be getting a ring?
I will be receiving my 3rd straight my 3rd championship ring. Yes, I will.
Well, congratulations to you, Coach. Continue to make Auburn great, Coach.
We're trying, my brother.
Auburn is a member of the union, so continue to make Auburn great again, Coach.
We're going to do our best.
Let's get into shout-outs, Coach, and disappointments. Coach, kick us off this week with your disappointments. And this is a special edition for those that listen to the podcast and follow the podcast. We are taping this show after the Super Bowl. It's a late Monday night. You guys will be getting this recording on tomorrow morning. Shout out to our producer who burns the midnight oil, Coach. He burns the midnight oil so that America can have this podcast.
Shout out, a.k.a. Dog Pound.
A.k.a. Dog Pound, a.k.a. the 2-7 Kid. But, Coach, I just wanted to make certain that this is kind of a special edition because this is going to be post-Super Bowl and post-recruiting. So we'll be able to touch on two very important topics today and just want to make certain that we're able to capture everything around both the recruiting as well as the Super Bowl. So with that being said, Coach, let's make America great and allow us to share our disappointments for the week.
One of my first disappointment goes out to LaShawn McCoy. I know there's a lot of things going on right now in the media between cops and the black males of the United States. But LaShawn, you can't go out and take your frustration out on some rimmer cops, okay? So LaShawn McCoy. My next disappointment goes out to A.K. Johnny Football, a.k.a. Johnny Manziel. Salento stay winning. Johnny Football stay losing. Johnny Football, again, in the media, negative publicity. I don't know if this kid can be turned around. It really pains me to hear that my beloved Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones is considering even thinking about bringing this kid on staff. I mean, people bash my man Romo already. We will be the laughing stock of the league if we put any stock into Johnny Manziel.
I don't think he's going to get it. I think he's going to go with RG me before he go with Johnny Football, Coach. But did you hear what Johnny Football, what his dad said, Coach?
No, what his dad got to say?
Well, his dad said that he don't believe Johnny's going to make it to his 24th birthday. He said they tried to check him in on two separate occasions, and he refused to go to get help. And he's worried about Johnny because he don't think Johnny's gonna make it to his next birthday, his 24th birthday, Coach. So it's a lot of concerned folks out there for Johnny Football, and they don't really they really believe he needs help, and he's in denial. They even gave him the Ryan Leaf kind of hashtag.
Well, I wondered if his daddy think that way back when Johnny was, spending some of his money to get on some of these wild escapades that he was doing back when he was in college. So, you can't be a delinquent. You can't help a person be delinquent and then try to come back and talk bad about him. But disappointment.
Well, he didn't talk bad about him. He just talked. He was concerned, Coach. He sounds like a concerned father.
Well, he should be. Disappointment goes out to the Super Bowl halftime show. I thought they did a good job picking their participants for halftime, but for it to be Super Bowl 50, I just felt like it was a little underwhelming.
Really, you didn't like the show, Coach?
I thought it was a bit underwhelming.
What didn't you like about the show, Coach? Because I thought the show was, I thought they did a good job with the halftime show, particularly Bruno Mars and Beyonce.
I just thought it was a little underwhelming. It didn't have a wow factor to me, considering it being Super Bowl 50. So,
who would you have liked to see, or what would have been that wow factor, Coach?
Honestly, I don't really know, because anybody who I name America probably don't want to see that.
Well, Coach, they could have had Donald Trump come up there and make America great again, Coach.
Well, I'm sure that would have been frowned upon myself.
So, well, who you want to see? You want to see some trap music, Coach?
I don't think it was the fact that
America ain't ready for trap music.
I don't think it was the fact of who it was. I think it was just the fact that I just felt like it wasn't no wow factor in it. Like it didn't blow me away.
So you didn't like the competition between, cause that was a competition that was a dance off on there between Bruno Mars and Beyonce. You didn't like the group dance off, and you didn't like the vintage Michael Jackson throwback jacket that Beyonce wore, Coach?
Wasn't impressed.
Coach, you gonna have a beehive after you.
Wasn't impressed. I think a lot of times just because I think a lot of time her name precedes her, and a lot of times I think people just automatically anoint things that she's in just because it's her.
Well, you know, we don't do that on this podcast, because I would be the first to say, for that Super Bowl, for that New Orleans Superdome show that she did and brought back Destiny Child, I thought that was a piss poor performance. And I felt like Rihanna would have been a better draw for that year. So we're not gonna crown you on this show, on the D1, on the people. This is the people's show, Coach. This is D1 Sports Talk is the people's show. So we don't crown you on this show. We don't crown you. We make you we make you earn it. But I thought she did a fine job, Coach. I'm surprised you didn't enjoy the show. Did your wife enjoy it?
I'm not sure. I don't know if she was watching it at that time or not.
Did Kennedy enjoy it?
She shaking and moving. No, she was getting dressed at that time.
Okay.
And I was watching some of that in after bath time.
Okay. What else? Any more disappointments, Coach?
Yeah, my last one go out to first of all, as a whole, the Carolina Panthers. I ain't gonna necessarily put them on my disappointment list. I think I put a lot of stock into them offensively, but what I am disappointed in is the play of the wide receiver core. This is the group that I felt like would hold them from getting to a Super Bowl. And I thought they played the way I thought they would play actually in the playoffs. And last but not least, Cam Newton, man. The way he handled his post-game interview, definitely wasn't impressed by that. He had a great opportunity to do something right then, and he didn't. It's not the end of the world. He'll have an opportunity to fix things, but everything we talked about last week and the way people were judging him and all that kind of stuff, I felt like that was a great opportunity for him to prove some people wrong, whether they believed him or not, or whether they would have come across to his side or not. That was still an opportunity that I feel like he missed out on. Those my disappointments.
Well, Coach, I definitely would like to piggyback. I'll start off with Cam Newton. And, Coach, the reason why I add Cam Newton to the disappointment list, you want to know why I add him?
Tell me, my brother.
Coach, why? Coach, there was a fumble on the ground with a little bit more than 2 minutes to go, right before the 2 minute end of the fourth quarter. And Cam Newton looked at that fumble as though he was making a business decision, Coach. Coach, it's the Super Bowl. Cam Newton may not never get another opportunity to play in the Super Bowl. It's not guaranteed. And to be quite honest with you, I think it's going to be hard for him to get back there. So why would he not take that opportunity to dive on that football and make a business decision as though he was calculating whether or not diving on that football was worth losing a commercial deal or an endorsement from Under Armour, Coach? I didn't understand that decision. What say you, Coach, when you saw that decision? What was the first thing that came to your mind?
First thing that came to my mind is kid didn't want to get in there and mix it up.
But why? Why?
That's the first thing that came to my mind. Then somebody, I heard somebody try to justify it today. Another talking head tried to justify it, then say, well, at that point in time, I think he just froze he just had a brain fart or whatever.
No, he didn't freeze have a brain fart.
Even if that is the case, that tells me right there that he was not ready for that football game.
Yeah, if you have a brain fart in the Super Bowl, I felt like the play calling by the Carolina Panthers, Mike Shula, was piss poor. I felt like they didn't utilize Cam to his fullest. I felt like they should have broke him more into the game by calling some draw plays or calling some predetermined run plays. But I felt like Cam just never got into a groove, and I think that was pretty evident by the number of overthrown passes he threw. But with that being said, you never know when you're going to get another opportunity to play in that football game. You got to dive on that football. And maybe at practice they need to do what the old coach used to do. Coach, you know what our coach would do when somebody fumbled the ball?
Same thing coach would do. You're going to throw it out there, and you're going to make that kid jump on that ball and cradle it in the fetal position.
You're going to cradle it in the fetal position, Coach. You're going to do it up and down the football field.
Until I get tired of looking at you.
Until I get tired of looking at you, and it's part of cardio. You don't look at my football on the ground. So I think Cam Newton, I added him to my disappointment list for lack of effort. And he may need to go back to the basics. Next disappointment, Coach, goes out to the Purple Monkey Baby. Didn't understand the commercial, didn't like the commercial. For some reason, America liked that commercial. I didn't like it. Did you find the commercial funny, Coach?
I did not. Very weird.
It was very weird. But for some reason, one of our featured guests on the show thought it was great. Joey thought the commercial was absolutely funny.
And that's why they spent $5 million on it for Joey.
For 30 seconds. They said it cost $5 million for 30 seconds, Coach. Did not like that commercial at all, and was absolutely shocked and surprised when I heard Joey thought it was one of the best. Couldn't believe it.
They accomplished their goal.
Couldn't did that say something about me and you, or did that say something about Joe?
That is a great question. Oh my God.
I don't know. Did that say something about me and you, or did that say something about Joe, Coach?
That's a good question right there.
America, you tell us. Next question. Next disappointment. Next disappointment goes out to the OPIisDifferent.com commercial. Have no idea what you guys were doing. That was a wasted commercial and a wasted 30 seconds. Next disappointment, Coach, goes out to the end of football. Coach, yesterday was the last day of football for 213 days, Coach.
That's it.
What do we do?
It's a wrap.
What do we do?
Why soccer?
That is football, huh?
We got to watch soccer, man. We got to get ready for the Olympics.
So that is football, Coach. Next disappointment goes out to the voting committee, the Hall of Fame voting committee, Coach. Coach, they have a vendetta against Terrell Owens.
Hashtag Team Obliterator.
Coach, why? Coach, they got guys in that Hall of Fame this year. I have no idea. I support Tony Dungy. He's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, Coach. Marvin Harris is not a better wide receiver than T.O. was. Coach, you got to take emotion out of the game. When you're making to the Hall of Fame voters, when you're making your Hall of Fame ballot, Chris Carter is not a Hall of Famer. Not before T.O. When you're making your Hall of Fame ballots and you're voting, take the personal emotional out of it and vote on the guy based on what he did on the field. Don't erase somebody because you feel like his off the field antics don't meet the criteria. We're not voting for the Heisman. This ain't a vote of integrity.
AKA Pete Rose.
This ain't a vote of integrity. This is a vote of how the player played on the field. So to the committee that did not decide to select T.O., you ought to be ashamed. And all of your voting should be in question and revote. And my last disappointment, Coach, you want to know my last disappointment here, Coach?
Give it to me.
Coach, my last disappointment goes to whoever decided to sell beer at the Super Bowl for $13. That is absolutely ridiculous. Coach, did you know that for a cup of beer at the Super Bowl it was $13?
Somebody came up.
Coach, you can get a 6-pack for $7.99 at Shoppers, Coach. And you might even be able to get it for $6.99 if you got your Shoppers card and you swipe it.
Was it cold? It wasn't cold at the Super Bowl, was it?
It was not. It was a little wind. It was a little windy, a little chill, but
Man, you can't sneak that 6-pack in there, my boy.
Oh, you can get a 6-pack for $7.99 at the Shoppers. If you got your Shoppers card, they give it to you for $6.99.
They came up at the Super Bowl.
That's ridiculous, Coach. So I wanted to make certain I point out the $13 draft beer. Whoever came up with that cross, you're not making America great again. D1 Sports Talk, we are here to make America great again. And America, I suggest you get on the Make America Great Again bandwagon. Coach, who you got for your shout-outs?
Shout-outs. Well, since you decided to put it on the disappointment list, I had it on my shout-out list. Shout out to T.O. T.O. hashtag Team Obliterator. Has been having financial problems here lately. But I want to shout T.O. out because this allowed him to get back in the news. So shout out to T.O. for being back in the news, doing a few interviews. Maybe you done enough to collect a few dollars this week. But you better jump on it while it lasts because this train ain't gonna roll too long, homeboy. Shout out to everybody that was elected into the Hall of Fame, I should say.
Kevin Green, Orlando Kenny the Snake Stabler. They just released that he had CTE, Coach.
Oh yeah.
They said that they released just this week before he was inducted to the Hall of Fame that it was confirmed. They had his brain and studied, and he was diagnosed with having CTE, Coach. Coach, the doctor that Dr. Bennett Omalu, the guy that Will Smith played in the movie Concussion, he has guaranteed, and he said that he would put his license on the line that O.J. Simpson has CTE, Coach. Orthol James Simpson.
The juice.
Sorry to disrupt you, but I wanted to, when you said Kenneth Stable, I wanted to make certain that we provide facts to America.
To go back to T.O., you right, man. They need to take some emotion out of it. But they don't. Team Obliterator has obliterated teams in the past. All of his antics alone should be inducted into some kind of Hall of Fame, but it's not going to be the NFL Hall of Fame at this moment. However, I don't think T.O. will have to wait as long as Pete Rose, but it just ain't his week. My last shout out goes to the Denver Broncos. America, I would like to offer my apology to the Denver Broncos defense for such disrespect that I gave them to think that the Carolina Panthers offense would overtake their dominance. I greatly undervalued the offensive line. I mean, the strength of the defensive front of the Denver Broncos. The Manning family and the legacy that they bring to the game. Shout out to Peyton and DeMarcus Ware, two very fine professionals and I think we'll hang up the cleats for the last time. Just a dominating performance up front. Peyton did a good job of being a game manager, and and shout out to John Elway for putting his team together. But shout out to the Denver Broncos. I apologize for the disrespect to your defense.
Oh yeah.
Shout out.
Coach, you have to shout out, Coach. Like you did that, and you have to show respect and honor to the Super Bowl winning team. So I like to take this moment of opportunity to tip my cap to the Denver Broncos, the Super Bowl 50 Super Bowl champs. That defensive line led by Von Miller and Auburn's own DeMarcus Ware was outstanding, Coach.
Yes,
we talk about the great line of Tuscaloosa, Coach. Coach, you probably got a new great wall, or we can call it the Berlin Wall of the Broncos, because that wall was that pass rush, Coach, was something to be seen and watched. And you had to, for those that like football, you got to appreciate a good defense. I did hear that a lot of people thought that was a sloppy game, but that's what happens when you have a defense and a defensive front like you saw with the Broncos. Wolf, Miller, Ware, those guys were all over the football field.
Oh man, all over the place, man. Even the rookie Shane Ray from Missouri, they're all over the field.
All over the field. So you got to appreciate that and shout that out, Coach. You know the old cliche. You know, if I'm gonna give a first take, Coach, you got to give a cliche. Offense win games, defense win championships.
So it was so true yesterday.
It was so true. So you always had to go with the best defense, and that's a mistake on my end. I went with my heart, was rooting for Cameron Newton, but logically you have to go with the best defensive team. My next shout out goes to Black Twitter. Coach, you know what, Coach? Black Twitter has some of the most amazing artists and some of the most thought-provoking analogies that one would ever think of, Coach. And the reason why I add Black Twitter to my shout-outs because they had two pictures in particular that just had me dying laughing, Coach. One of them come from one of my top 3 commercials, the apartments.com commercial, in which Weezy and George Washington, Lil Wayne and George Washington was in that commercial. Well, Coach, Black Twitter was able to get a picture of Weezy in his bucket hat and do a comparison of with Weezy in his bucket hat to Sealy from The Color Purple. And when I tell you it was a match, Coach, it was a match. They say Lil Wayne look like Sealy.
Weezy F Baby and Harpo Mama. Harpo Step Mama and Weezy F Baby.
So shout out. And the other one, Coach, was Cam Newton talking to Michael Jordan. And they say, and Michael Jordan has a talking bubble that says, please win this game so that they don't have to use my face on your body.
Now, pal, you gonna have to drop that. You gonna have to drop that until you do right by me.
Until you do right by me, everything you think about is gonna crumble. Don't do it, Miss Seeley. Don't trade places with what I've been through.
All my life.
I had to fight.
All my life I had to fight. So shout out to Black Twitter, man.
Shout out to Black Twitter.
Next shout out goes to a few commercials that I wanted to add, and I'll just put these in a bundle, Coach. You got the Super Bowl Babies classic commercial, Coach. Coach, did you understand that commercial?
Yeah, man. Shout out to the Super Bowl Babies, man.
Coach, all old baby were conceived on on the eve of after the game, Coach.
Oh yeah, shout out to the Super Bowl baby, man. That was a good
And
one.
all of them had they were conceived the year their team won.
No doubt, no doubt. Hopefully, we'll find out who the Denver baby was in a couple of years.
Yeah, we'll find out who the Denver baby was. Shout out to the Super Bowl baby commercial. Shout out to the Steve Harvey T-Mobile commercial. Coach, I thought that was another classic.
I'm gonna give a shout out to T-Mobile also, man. Little honorable mention shout out because T-Mobile has Steve Harvey and Drake. The Drake hotline bling. Now, I'm gonna say a small little plug right here. Shout out to T-Mobile. We finally got some A-list stars on our commercials. So hopefully my phone will start working in rural areas.
Thank you. I'm a T-Mobile coach. I do. Coach,
Maybe I can start back calling it T-Mobile in public instead of T-Maybe.
I ain't got to say I got a Metro PC, coach. I ain't got a Boost Mobile, coach. I got T-Mobile.
We got Drake, so maybe my phone will work in rural areas.
We got Drake and we got Steve Harvey. So shout out. I'd like to add that commercial to one of mine. And we could do a top 3 commercial, coach. I'm kind of shouting mine out now, but I thought the Doritos ultrasound was a good commercial. And I thought the apartments.com was a good commercial.
Yeah, apartment.com pretty good. I mean, you got George Washington in a grill. I mean, you got Jeff Goldblum, a.k.a. The Fly. You got Weezy F. Baby. I mean, that's a lot of movement in that commercial, man. That was a good commercial.
So we'll do our top 3 here in a second, coach. But last but not least, my last honorable mention goes out to Budweiser and Ford. Coach, you know why I added Budweiser and Ford?
No, man, let me know something.
Because those commercials illustrated what makes America great, coach. Since 1876, Budweiser has made America great. Ford, since they started with the first model Ford, they've been making America great. Nothing is imported, coach. Nothing is imported. It's all done domestically. And because of that, as an honorable mention, we have to make certain we acknowledge the great job that Budweiser and Ford did. And, Coach, that concludes my shout-outs.
All right, my brother.
So, Coach, rather than having a tip of the week, I did want to use this time as an opportunity for you to provide America with your analysis and of the best commercials. And also, Coach, use this opportunity to talk about the spread. I think I would be very interested in hearing what you had on your spread as well as what you thought the top 3 commercials were.
Well, I'm going to start off with one category I like to call WTH. I'm going to let y'all figure out what that means. WTH category. The Hyundai Drive Your Heart commercial. Where everybody got the little motor on their throat. WTH. The Mountain Dew puppy monkey baby. WTH.
Oh, is something wrong with me and you or something wrong with Joey?
I don't know, man. America, you decide. The Marymount Kiss a Squirrel commercial.
Which one is this one, Coach?
That's the one where the man and the squirrel was in the woods and they were having all that good time.
Oh, my
goodness.
goodness.
Toward the end, he started leaning in to get a squirrel some sugar.
What's going on?
WTH. These are 2 guys I really like, Key and Peele. WTH. Squarespace. WTH. All right, now, movies. Movies are always something that kind of you look forward to. The new premieres. You got the new Jason Bourne 5. That was kind of interesting. See Ninja Turtle trying to roll back. Independence Day is one of my favorite movies growing up. Glad to see that coming back. Looked like no Will Smith in the movie. The new X-Men trailer. My wife is a big fan of X-Men, but the one that really stole my heart was
I already know. That was mine too.
the one that really stole my heart. I don't know that.
I'm with you, though. I'm with you.
I'm a kid at heart when it
I
comes
know
to
what
this.
you about to say. I'm with you.
Captain America, Civil War.
No.
See, I told you. I'm gonna tell you why they stole my heart. It's because if you watch that trailer right there at the end, you see something we have yet to be seen in the Marvel universe on the big screen.
And what's that?
America, prepare to be introduced to the Black Panther. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to have our first superhero on the big screen since Blank Man. Black Panther will make his appearance in the Civil War. Captain America. That was my #1 movie trailer for that reason.
So you didn't think the Jungle Book was a good one, Coach? I thought you were gonna go with the Jungle Book.
The thing that took Jungle Book away from me is I got to get my daughter back into it. She was excited about the movie, but the cinematic part of the movie looked like it was kind of that commercial came across as very 3D-ish.
It did.
On TV. And that kind of drew her back a little bit, but I want her to get into that. I think she will really enjoy that movie. I think it's going to be a great movie. I really do. I really do think it's going to be a great movie. But that one. Other than that, man, I wasn't as big. I mean, I thought the Kevin Hart Hyundai commercial was pretty good.
No, I didn't like it. It
didn't blow me away like everybody else. Everybody saying that was their #1 commercial. It didn't really blow me away. A couple honorable mention commercials. Shock Top Bar commercial with T.J. Miller where the man sitting there arguing with the little top. The Hulk Ant-Man Coke commercial. The Prius robbery. I mean, they really got away in a Prius.
That was just that. I thought the Prius. Do they really want to associate themselves with a robbery? I was surprised at that one.
The Hyundai commercial with the singing sheep.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
The Weenie Dog Heinz commercial.
That one kind of threw me off. I didn't understand that one.
I'm gonna just leave it at this. Because this commercial, sometimes you have a commercial with a message. And I'm going to leave you with this message.
Hashtag.
America, from now on.
Hashtag.
When you get up in the morning or before you go to bed, turn off the faucet.
I don't know that one, Coach.
Hashtag the Colgate turn off the faucet commercial.
Oh, Coach, I thought you were going to give me hashtag give a damn.
Turn off the faucet, America.
Did you not see the hashtag give a damn, Coach?
Yeah, I saw that.
I thought you were.
Shout out to the Super Bowl. And shout out to the Super Bowl, period, man. Just the fanfare, the commercials. I mean, Super Bowl is one of the biggest events in the world. And it's not slowing down at all.
Coach, you didn't. So you didn't think some of mine were some of your top ones? The Super Bowl babies, Steve Harvey.
Oh yeah, I just didn't speak on them because we had already said about them. I definitely had those up top. No doubt.
Super Bowl babies, Steve Harvey, Doritos Ultrasound, Apartments.com. Coach, I didn't see any Clydesdale. Did I miss the commercial with the Clydesdale?
No, man. Look like Budweiser trying to go in a different direction, man.
I couldn't believe it. I was looking for the Clydesdale and the dog or the puppy or something, and we didn't see that one. I did like you say, I was concerned why would Prius want to associate themselves with the robbery, but they went there.
They did.
You know, I thought the Kevin Hart one came out too early, too soon. They came right out the gate with the Kevin Hart. And personally, I don't think Kevin Hart is that funny. To me, he's not that funny. I think that you got guys like Mike Epps and the Waynes and some other guy that are just funny to me. Kevin Hart is not that funny to me. And I don't know why he keeps winning, but apparently somebody likes him.
You took the word right out of my mouth. I thought I was one of the only people in America that felt that way. So is that something wrong with me and you or everybody else?
I don't know, Coach, but I mean, I can name 1,000 comedians that are funnier than Kevin Hart, but for some reason they think that guy shit's gold.
I can literally watch his show and don't budge.
Me too. I have to turn it. I'd be like, what is this? But I can sit up there and listen to other guys and other comedians that I think are hilarious.
My sentiments exactly. But you're right. He stay winning. And more props to him.
More props to him. But I thought that commercial was piss poor.
To me, he's just so over the top.
It's too over the top. It's not that funny. It's not, and I think it comes off as he's trying so hard.
I agree.
When you got some guys that are naturally funny.
But I'm sure we'll see him doing NBA All-Star Weekend, doing the tour.
Next week he a coach.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, you know, he won MVP a few times. I don't know. Let me stop the hating on Kevin Hart because, you know, I don't want to get into hate mail.
I'm with you, brother. But hey, man, shout out to the Super Bowl, man.
Yeah, shout out to the Super Bowl. Like I say, the Budweiser, I thought there was some good. I thought the Budweiser Give a Damn and just the other Budweiser commercial was great commercial. So, thank you to the Super Bowl and what you guys provided, Coach. I wanted to get into a little Auburn gossip, Coach. Based on the rankings and based on like some of the feedback that I heard, you had Florida State to finish number 1. They actually overtook LSU, who they thought LSU was going to finish in the top 1 spot. Alabama finished second. Not surprising. Alabama continues to get top players. LSU actually fell to third, which I don't see how you can say falling to third is a loss. But they fell to third. You got Ole Miss. And this is based off the ESPN rankings, Coach, because if you look at these things, different rankings have different things. But to round out the top 10, you got Ohio State 5th, Michigan 6th, Georgia 7, Clemson 8, Auburn 9, Texas 10. Coach, that gives you 4 teams from the SEC in the top 10. Coach, let's talk about.
Hold on, let me do something right quick just for the people, so the people can understand recruiting. Everybody different. Everybody has their own way of ranking things, their own categories and strategies. So what I want you to do, if you don't mind, I want you to call out your top 10 again from whatever site. We ain't even call the sites out.
Okay.
And I'm gonna give you the site I'm looking at and tell you what they had. So who was your number 1?
I got Florida State.
My number 1 on the site I'm looking at was Alabama. Your number 2?
Alabama.
Florida State. Number 3?
LSU.
Ohio State. Number 4?
Ole Miss.
Michigan. Number 5?
Ohio State.
Clemson.
Wow.
Number 6?
Michigan.
LSU.
Wow.
Number 7?
Georgia.
Ole Miss. Number 8?
Clemson.
USC. Number 9?
Auburn.
Auburn Tigers.
Well, that's good. 10. That's consensus.
Yep. Number 10?
Texas.
University of Georgia.
What just happened? What just happened, Coach?
And that's just 2. And that's just 2 out of probably 5 publications.
Which site were you looking at? 24 or Rivals?
Looking at Rivals.
And I'm looking at ESPN. So those are 2 of the. I would say those are 2 of the top 3.
Oh yeah, and 24/7 probably different in that, both of them. Mm-hmm. And that's just a little insight to the people about how everybody perceives players a little different based on who works for those companies and how they decide to rank these kids.
Because ESPN is 100% based off of their rankings, meaning they'll take the top 300 players in a class, and they'll rank them from 1 to 300, and based off of their rankings is how they come up with their overall top 25. So when you look at ESPN, for example, they'll list how many of their top, how many schools a college got from their top 300. You see what I'm saying?
Right. See right here on Rivals, Ole Miss has 2 of the top 10 players in the nation. Clemson has 2 of the top 10 players in the nation. It just, everybody is a little different, man. Everybody is a little different, but it's obviously everybody think Alabama and Florida State were the top 2. Well, at least in these 2 publications.
Well, how do you perceive how Auburn did?
I think we did okay. My issue with Auburn signings, I think Auburn finished strong. I think they signed some kids we definitely need. If you want to break it down farther than that, I think Auburn had, according to this publication, to Rivals, Auburn had one of the top wide receiver classes in the nation this year.
I saw on SEC Network, they said that Auburn had they signed the top defensive line in the nation.
Oh yeah, and that's probably true. And which are 2 positions where we really needed some kids. So that was good to see. The one thing that I felt like we lacked on in this signing class was linebackers. We only signed 1 linebacker.
And I was going to ask you about that because I got into a conversation today with Joey, and Joey and I pretty much said something similar, and I wanted to get your opinion on it. There's an article on AL.com in which Gus Malzahn says he's not concerned with the linebacker position. Now, how in the world can you not be concerned with the linebacker position when you don't have not one? Do we even have one returning starter? Not to say that our starters were any good and we don't have any depth at that position. So, right. I mean, are we even going to be able to finish a season with 2, 3? Are we running a 4-3 or 3-4?
I'm sure when Steele was hired, he didn't necessarily say what we will be running. He will probably he said he will base that off of
talent.
What the talent and the personnel dictates. I don't know, man. I gotta think we'll be running a 4-3.
You have to, and then if we're gonna run a 4-3, who do we have at the line? Only 2 guys I know is Williams and Holland. So other than those 2 guys, what other guy do we have at the linebacker position that can play?
Well, we have Darrell Williams, the other freshman that came in from Hoover. I mean, he's about 230, 235.
He came in from Hoover when?
Last year. He was a freshman this past year. Okay. Cameron Toney, he is redshirt sophomore from Huntsville. We got
Are they gonna move the Malik kid to linebacker, or is he gonna stay on the offensive side of the football?
I think he's gonna stay on the offensive side of football.
I feel like we're gonna be struggling at that position, Coach.
Oh yeah, I mean, because the talent that we do have is unproven right now. We do have a little depth at the position, but none of the kids have really played.
You call that depth?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you got the numbers.
No, how many numbers you just said? If we're gonna run a 4-3, that means we need 3 linebackers out there. And based on what you just said, I don't even think we got a backup per position.
Oh yeah, we got enough guys. I mean, I didn't call out every kid on all the kids, but we got enough guys. I mean, we got Deshaun Davis who ain't played yet. We got Justin Garrett will be back. No, Justin Garrett's gone.
He's gone.
We got McBride. We got Jeff Holland.
Yeah, Holland and Williams gonna have to play. And when I say Williams, I'm talking about Trey.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Trey gonna have to play. I mean,
and so is Holland. Holland gonna have to play.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we got some guys. Javier Mitchell who played some this year. I mean, I think we got the numbers to be able to play in a 4-3. But like I said, whether you got the numbers or not, I mean, it's unproven talent because most of them ain't had a lot of snaps.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a situation. To piggyback on this linebacker talk, there is a rumor now that we may be getting a transfer kid that has already graduated from the University of Illinois. I really don't know much about the kid, but he apparently started for them and was second team in the league or whatever. So you know how that is. So you just never know. But he's an inside linebacker. I don't know, but I found that strange. I don't know whether we put all our eggs in the basket of trying to get Ben Davis or what, but we gonna have to hit on that. You should expect that to be a position that we'll recruit very heavy next year because we done got behind. And that's along the lines of the things that I was saying about, the quarterback position back when we were talking about it. You can't let the position go bare. Sometimes you got to bring somebody in, whether you necessarily covet that kid or not, because you can't let the position go bare, and it just don't look good right now. So
well, we're gonna see if Trey, if Rapper coach if he can develop players, because he gonna start off right out the gate having to put some guys on the football field that haven't played in a lot of football games, coach. Because we're gonna find out if Coach Williams, if he's a rapper or a player development.
And that is a tough situation to come in under with your first ever position coach job at a Division I level, is to have the issues that he got right now in depth. So, but hey, that's part of it, I guess. Sometimes, but that's tough.
Oh yeah, maybe he can get these guys playing up to a level that we haven't seen in years, but he has a lot of work to do, because I was concerned with that. But when you hear your head coach, when you hear your head coach talking about he's not concerned with that position, what does that say about him? Is he living in a world that is he living in a world that is a fictitious utopian world where he's so embedded into the team that he don't see that we have weaknesses?
It's either that or he think we're gonna score 7 that game and ain't gonna need a good defense. I hope he right.
Well, we gonna have
That's all I can say is I hope he right.
Yep. Coach, I had another topic I wanted to talk about, but I'm going to cut it short. But, Coach, just tell the people what you told. A lot of people were disappointed. Well, anything else you wanted to add on the Auburn gossip?
No, we good, man. Go ahead.
A lot of people was very disappointed in Cam's response to Media Day on yesterday. I'm not a big fan of having the losing team have to address the media. However, that is an obligation that he knows he's going to have to do. See, Cam knew that had he won that game, he would have not had a problem standing in front of the reporters, the media, and addressing 100 questions for 45 minutes. With him losing, he didn't respond in a way that a lot of folks felt like he should have responded. Coach, just tell us what you told the young person at your school today, and we'll leave that as our closing for today.
Yeah, I was talking to you guys about, decision making, and how we always have a decision to make, when we're faced with adversity. And, I had a young man walk up to me today who's a big Auburn fan, a little third grader. And when I tell you this kid loves sports, he loves sports. He would walk up to me on Sunday and he'll say, "Coach, what is Jeremy doing? Or what is Sean doing? Or why didn't Coach Malzahn do this?" Every Monday, he can read you off stats and all kind of stuff. And he's a Cam Newton fan.
Is he getting that from his dad, or is that something that does he really watch the game?
I think he does watch the game with his dad, but you can tell this kid watches the game. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure he probably sitting up hearing grown talk and stuff like that. But this ain't no normal kid that's just gonna walk up to you and say, "Hey, Auburn won." Like, this kid watches the game. And he asked me, did I hear about what Cam did at his press conference?
How did he hear about it?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether I didn't ask him. I'm not sure whether he saw it or whether he heard his dad talking about it or what. But that's just what he asked me. First he asked me, "Did I see the game?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then he was like, Did you hear about what Cam did at the press conference?" I said, and I told him, I said, "Yeah, man." I said, I guess Cam was just a little upset at how the game turned out. And he was like, "Yeah." And then I told him, because I always tell my kids, we have to learn how to be good winners and good losers. And I have to talk to them that way because I am talking about elementary school kids. And what I try to explain to them is, even on Friday nights when you lose a game, I tell my kids when I'm talking about sportsmanship, it ain't easy for me to walk across that field and shake that man's hand when it's your rival and maybe they've been running off at the mouth or saying something negative or it's a tightly contested game. I said, but if it was the other way around, that's what I would want somebody to do to me. And at some point in time, you got to be able to walk across that field like a man and shake that other person's hand, whether you want to or not. All of them emotion that you deal with, you can take that somewhere else. You just got to grin and bear it for that moment to get through it. And then you can be upset about it. And like I was trying to tell this young man, Cam was probably upset about the game, but he does have an opportunity to fix it. And I told him Cam has to learn how to be a good winner just as well as he is a good loser. And that, those things are going to happen. And, the little kid was like, yeah. And he was like, maybe next time, Cam won't have to do that because they'll win next time. I told him maybe, hopefully they will, but somebody, as one of our mutual friends, talked about how that was a tough situation and, that probably the toughest game he ever played in. And that's true. None of us are perfect. And the Super Bowl is the pinnacle of football games. But it was also the pinnacle of opportunities. And that was an opportunity for him to prove them wrong. And he did it. He did it. But like I said, Cam's going to get another opportunity. He's going to get plenty of opportunities to prove the critics wrong and have a platform in which he was given to show these kids that he run up and give these balls to and things like that, how to win and how to lose. And I just hope it's a learning experience for him and that he can grow from this. But I was disappointed to see that.
I was 100% disappointed, but Coach, you did a good job of summarizing that. So in summary, what would you leave or tell? What would you leave or tell the people as some words of encouragement, words of wisdom? What would you leave with the young people?
Just like I just said, we got to learn how to win and lose. A lot of times, we are human. We let our emotions get the best of us sometimes. But we got to learn. The biggest thing is learning from our mistakes. It is just a game at the end of the day. And a lot of times we don't choose to be in leadership positions. But that's what we are. That's what Cam is to a lot of kids. And this ain't just about Cam. It's everybody that's in positions like that. To show some kind of humility in situations like that. But to the young people, it's okay to watch what people do, but we got to make our own choices when it comes to when we're faced with those situations. And that's just how I talk to my kids at my school, man. It's a constant, because my kids, man, they dab and they hit the food and they they do those things, during the games. I know they watching Cam. They'll do the LeBron, when LeBron pushing the weight off him. They do all that stuff, man. So these kids watch these professional athletes and it's a constant battle to get them to show sportsmanship and to show character. And so when you have these, what we call them as teachers, we call this a teachable moment. That was a moment where something happened and we can use that to benefit us in things that we do. That was what Cam did was a teachable moment that I use with that kid, and hopefully he can use it on in life at some point in time.
That's good, Coach. Stop giving excuses and man up. You know, man up. So, Coach, good show, Coach. Coach, tell the people about Advocate. Coach, I just ordered another batch of the cleanse today. Once it gets in, I'm gonna do another 10-day cleanse, Coach.
Okay.
I want to do another 10-day cleanse in honor of Ash Wednesday and the 40-day of fasting and that kind of thing. So, Coach, I ordered another batch, and I got a lot of listeners, and you know, Joey, and we got other listeners that are interested in trying to spark energy, Coach. So tell us about Advocare and let the people know that you that you got the spark and about the cleanse, Coach.
Oh yeah, man. You hear it here first about the cleanse. You the biggest cleanse seller in America right now. I'm speaking highly on the cleanse. As a matter of fact, I just one of my newest customers. His cleanse will probably be in. Local customer. His cleanse will probably be in tomorrow. He got that peaches and cream flavor. And then
I always get that citrus, Coach. I get that citrus, but did he hear about it on the show, Coach?
He heard about it on the show, and then he asked me about it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then, I told him how much you liked it. All he said, "Get it."
Oh yeah. I just ordered another cleanse. I ordered it today, Coach. It's supposed to be here by the 11th, and when it get here on the 11th, I will start it on the 12th, and I'll do my 10-day cleanse. I like the cleanse, Coach.
Well, see, he on that spark, and then he was on another product, and he been straight with him so far. He liked them, so you know. Once I said something about the cleanse, I was talking to him about the cleanse just because I was talking. Matter of fact, I was just talking about the show. And then he had said he heard you talking about it, so he was just like, go ahead and get it.
Oh yeah.
I just got a new customer last week. A female, she wants to try the crave check. And that's something that probably be in tomorrow too. I made them on the same order, so I just picked up another customer this week. So Advocare going good, man. It's a great product. I think it sells itself, really. I'm not a great salesman. All I can do is tell you about it, and you give it a shot, and they speak for itself. So Advocare going good for me, man. I can't really complain.
That's good, Coach. But like I say, that spark and that, I'm about to run out of my spark, but I'm gonna use what I have with my cleanse, and what I'm gonna try to do is do that cleanse every month or every other month. But I'm gonna stick with. I like the cleanse, Coach, and like I say, I tell everybody the things that I try that I like. I make certain I mention it, and the spark and the cleanse are two of them. So continue with the Advocare, Coach, and keep doing your thing.
Oh yeah, man. I'm trying to get around to all the spark flavors. I'm on that pink lemonade right now, and it go hard.
That's what I had, Coach. I told you that pink lemonade is
hard, boy.
That pink lemonade is the flavor, Coach. That's what I had.
Yeah, that pink lemonade go hard.
That's the best one. Coach, this is D1 Sports Talk Podcast. We are a member of the New South Movement Network. Coach, on Monday, did you know that they dropped the Retroscope Podcast? That's BG and our homegirl, the Shy Peacock. Definitely want to check that podcast out. They talk about different issues that are going on and give you headlines. That's every Monday. Coach, we always drop on Tuesdays, the D1 Sports Talk Podcast. That's sports. This is America's podcast. We are here to make America great again. And we do that by providing you with sports and other topics that center around Auburn University. We talk about college football. We talk about professional football. But we are here for you. We are a podcast of the people, chosen by the people, doing what? Working for the people. And Thursday, Coach, we got that Free Lunch Podcast, part of that New South Movement Network. That's the original and the Mothership Podcast. That's with myself and BG from the Retroscope Podcast. Coach, we've been having some interviews. Had an opportunity to talk directly with Deontay Wilder, Coach. Spoke with him right after his fight that he had a few weeks ago. We're going to be dropping that interview that I did with him. It's not a long interview, but we do have an interview with him. We also just released that I Am April Walker, Coach. You ever heard of Walker Well, Coach? If you haven't heard of Walker Well, have you heard of it, Coach?
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't until I became part of the New South Movement, man, but I am well aware of what you're talking about.
Man, that Walker Well, April Walker, man, the founder of Walker Well, goes back to the early 80s, the late 80s, early 90s, Coach, where she launched her own clothing line, Urban Outfit. Man, she had Mike Tyson, Tupac, Biggie was from Brooklyn wearing her stuff. We did an exclusive interview with her, as well as an upcoming interview with our main man, the original podcaster, Combat Jack, who I'm going to lead this show with a tribute to here in a second. And last but not least, we got the Girl Talk podcast on Fridays for you young women that's growing and coming up. So check us out, man. This is the New South Movement Network. We have moved from Free Lunch Podcast, so you need to tune in, subscribe on your iTunes. If you got iPhone, download the iTunes podcast app. Subscribe to the New South Movement Network. Likewise, if you have an Android, get on that SoundCloud and download that D1, that New South Movement Network. You can listen to the entire catalog of podcasts, including this one, D1 Sports Talk Podcast. We on the IG D1 Sports Talk Podcast. Also, you can listen to us at D1 Sports Talk podcast.blogspot.com. That's all I got, Coach. Anything else you got?
That's it, my brother.
Man, let's get up out of here. And I'm going to give a shout out to our homeboy, Combat Jack. Coach Combat Jack is the original king of podcasting. Me and BG had an opportunity to interview him. We'll be dropping a podcast with him too. But one of his lines that he said when he goes out, I want to use this for today's show because you was talking about being a role model and leader. So check this out. Dream those dreams, then man up and live those dreams, because a life without dreams is black and white, and the universe flows in technicolor and surround sound. Shout out to Combat Jack. This is D1 Sports Talk Podcast. I am your boy Tyke. That is your boy Coach Avocare Zone, and we are out in peace.
Because I wanna be a cowboy, baby,
With a top left back.